It's 5 p.m. where I am here in London. And it's probably, well, I don't know where you are in the world, but there's been people hanging out with me on Twitch from Australia and from the UK, Germany. Caroline, what's up? Shout out to Caroline. Certainly the United States. And yeah, if you come to this live stream, I don't know. Let's see. It's funny. I should know if you can comment on Twitch videos when you play them, like the replay. In YouTube, you can, but I'm not sure if on Twitch you can comment. Anyway, the point is, whether you comment here in the chat on the live stream or you comment on YouTube, because all of my Twitch videos are getting uploaded to YouTube. I'm almost caught up. Let me know where you're from. I would love to know. My name's Mary, and if you haven't been here yet, welcome. Oh no, don't do that. I've got some pretty things pulled up for you here, just to have something nice on the screen. Hey, KL Julie.
Been here yet?
Hang on.
Welcome.
Mute. No. KL Julie, it's so good to see you. I'm very glad you're here. I think, have you a SW Firefly? The fireflies in the house. Fire flying around. KL Julie, have you been here before? Because what's really exciting is that, more people are coming, like each time, which is great. That's exactly what we want to have happen. Primarily because the more people who are here for the live show, the more fun it is. It's more fun because you all can chat in the chat. You can ask me questions. I can ask you questions. And you can give me ideas and stuff I don't know. Because if you're, hey Myra, yes, you're at work, but we'll follow as soon as you can. I get it. I am so there. Sometimes I listen to live streams that I like on my headphones while I'm like biking somewhere in London. It's great. Uses a lot of my data, but I don't care. Bonnie, hi. Bonnie McLeod Lamb. Rhonda's in the house. Yes. Star Sundance. The gang is all here, except the gang's not all here yet, but I bet they're coming. We have quite the community building here. And sometimes that can sound a little forced, like the community. But it really is. We've got some peeps. We've got some early adopters on this whole Twitch thing. And KL Julie, this is your second visit. I've been watching your YouTube videos since January. Excellent. AK4512, I remember you. AKA, I remember that. Also known as 512. No, 4512. Also known as 4512. Maybe I'll just call you 4512. You're also known as 4512. Myra, great. Oh, hey Eric. Myra, who's in the Twitch, she's from downtown Seattle. I don't know if you can hear that, but Eric has roots in Seattle as well. So I had to tell him. I had to yell. Rhonda, top of the morning to you. Yes. Susan's here, ready to get some quilting done while listening to the feed. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Excellent. We're going to talk a little bit about Quilt Folk today in a it's going to be a very good stream. And we're going to talk about Quilt Folk, but what I wanted to say before I get anywhere else with that thought is that, now that I'm not editor-in-chief anymore, my choice, all is well. I work with Quilt Folk almost every day, right? But I'm not editor-in-chief of the magazine, so I'm a writer for the issues that have come out since issue 18 was my last one, Illinois. And the managing editor, Brianna Briggs, who's great. She's been with Quilt Folk since day one. She's been working with Mike. She's wonderful, capable. She sent out a little survey to the writers. I was like, oh, I'm just a writer. And it felt really good to be just a writer, And she asked, are there any states that you as a writer particularly would be interested in working on or traveling for? Any states you have a connection to? And I always said as editor-in-chief that New York City and New York State must be different issues. They have to be. I mean, come on. It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't care what your editorial approach is to the magazine to combine New York State and New York City in one. There's so much to talk about. So I said, I want to go to New York City. My sisters live there. I would love to be part of that issue. I have roots in Wisconsin. Be nice to do a Door County story, because we have a house there, my family. But I said Oklahoma. That's what I'm getting to, Susan. I said Oklahoma and the Dakotas, because the indigenous people, of course, there are many varieties of indigenous people, but many of the most beautiful Lone Star quilts, Star of Bethlehem, they have many names, are made in that area. The Dakotas, Oklahoma, you have a great tradition of Native American quilts made by Native Americans, and I want to know more. We'll have to look at those, sometime. We'll have to prep for when Quilt Folk goes to Oklahoma, because I really, really want to know more about that. Fabulous. Oh my gosh, I could show you a picture. Yeah, I'm going to show you a picture. Oh, it's going to blow your mind. Okay, it's in my files, but I know where to get it. Show pic of indigenous woman with baby wrapped in a quilt. And it's an old picture too. You're going to freak out. Molly's in the house. Yes. Buffalo. Yes. We're totally different from downstate. You're practically the Midwest. Yes. And by the way, I did a gig in Buffalo. SUNY Purchase? SUNY. There's a SUNY there. Buffalo is beautiful. That little main street. I just remember going down a hill on the main street. It's beautiful. Rhonda. Did I say hi to you yet? Rhonda? I'm so glad you're here. 4512. Yeah, Lone Star. Osage, is that right, Susan? Yeah. Well, I'm all about it. I mean, I just can't wait to get up in there. Arizona also has some really, really strong traditions in with quilts and indigenous populations there, and we did a story on that in the Arizona issue 6. Is that my first issue as editor? Anyway, so that is exciting. So here's what's going to go on. So Susan, by the way, when I do that, when we know Oklahoma is coming next, or we'll get in touch with you. I mean, I'm serious. The best thing for Quilt Folk is to get boots on the ground, local people to help us find those really great stories. Okay, so everything's happening. I was not feeling super great today. A few hours ago, I just had some belly stuff. Some days it just doesn't feel good in the bod. But today, so today was kind of one of those days. But then I put on a new sweater that I got weeks ago. It's a little warm for it, but it's okay. It's mustard color, one of my favorite colors. I just thought about how I get to do this tonight, and I love it so much. And I remembered what I want to talk about with you all, where I want to start with you all. And SUNY Buffalo, of course. You live right off the main street. I know exactly where you are, Molly. And what is the candy? Sponge candy, isn't it? In Buffalo, is it the sponge candy that's special to Buffalo? I think I'm right. Virginia, hi, Michelle. Virginia is Michelle. I have to remember that. Michelle. Okay, Michelle, welcome. It's very good to see you. I can't see you, but I see you. Isn't it sponge candy, Molly? I loved it. Sponge candy is a little bit like a Butterfinger. A little bit. It's like this. It's hard to describe. Well, I mean, let's just. Okay, I'm going to talk about quilts first before I talk about candy, because some people might be new here, and if you're new here, you're so welcome to be here. I'm super glad that you came. Twitch is a new thing for you, perhaps. Some of you may be coming here from Twitch, and you're like a gamer. You're a gamer, or you're a sewist, or you're a crocheter, and you're like, I don't even really care about quilts, but somebody, something came up in my Twitch thing, or I was just browsing for things to watch, and maybe you found this channel, and even if you don't know that you are in love with quilts, I would ask you to stick around, because by the time we're done with this stream, me and the people in the chat may convince you that quilts are like the best. We geek out on quilts here. If you are a quilter who's come in, I thank you so much, because Twitch is new for most of us, right? And it's not because of an age thing. There are quilters of every age, and there are millions of quilters in the United States, and I don't know the number of quilters in the UK or the number of quilters in Australia, but there are a lot of us. There are a lot of us, and we are many ages. We are a rainbow of ages, a rainbow of socioeconomic status, a rainbow of identities, politics, all that stuff. And so if you haven't found Twitch, you don't really know about Twitch, it has nothing to do with, I don't know, your demographic. It just has to do with there aren't a lot of quilting things on Twitch yet. There's a few. Quiltoni is awesome. And I should have the names of the few quilt people that I found handy so you can go and check them out. But what Twitch is really great at, and why I started doing this, is because it's a purely live stream platform. And YouTube is doing live stream, Instagram's doing live stream. But hey Bip, what's up? Bip is sewing. Bip, no, you're quilting. You're working on a quilt. This is perfect. This is a great way to listen to this show or watch this show, is work on a quilt or eat chips. We always have chips. I have chips. It's the black peppercorn chips today. The live streaming format is exciting on Twitch. It just feels like it's the one thing that Twitch does, and they do it really well. And one of the things that I wanted to say, it has to do with, I got the affiliate level thing on Twitch, so I'm going to talk about that because now, since I'm an affiliate, there's nothing special Twitch streamer, affiliate Twitch streamer, and then partner Twitch streamer, and that's very fancy, and you have to do lots of impressive things to get to partner. But I'm going to talk to you about what happens now that I'm an affiliate in just a second. But Twitch does really cool stuff, especially when you get this affiliate status or whatever. But it does live streaming really well, and it's different. And I feel like quilters are people who love to try new things. If you're not a quilt person, that might shock you, might surprise you, but quilters are amazing. We embrace new technology early because we love to make quilts. And so because we love to make quilts, we want to make a lot of them. And so if there's a way we can do it faster, or a way we can do it that's super fun, we're going to do it. I mean, there's sewing machines that have lasers on them. Yeah, to mark your line really well. And rotary cutters. And I mean, there's just so much stuff. So quilters are actually, we're pretty tech savvy, actually. And so I feel like quilters like new stuff, and they like to play with a new thing. And Twitch is kind of a new thing for us. So that's why I'm here. And the content of the show, it's Quilt Geek Out. That's what we do. I usually have some sense. I have some little spark of an idea throughout the week, or since the last time I streamed, or pretty much all the time. I really love quilts, and I love thinking about them. I love making them, but I love thinking about them and looking into them, into the past, into the future, what's happening now. And so I'll have so I think about them all the time. And so I'll have an idea oh, this would be a really fun place to start on the stream on Tuesday or Thursday or whatever. And that's it, for better or worse. I don't prepare a thing. I know a fair amount about the topic, but the way we do it is I put something up here and we go down the quilt rabbit hole. We follow the thread, if you will. And yeah. SW Firefly, you know what's up with the Twitch thing. You get it. I'm going to talk about emotes. And yeah, so we just follow our symbols, follow our nose. We just go and we nerd out on this thing that we love so much. And, each stream is about 2 hours, but I got to tell you, now that I'm an affiliate, I'm thinking, not that I have to do this. You don't have to do this, but I kind of want to get to partner. I'm putting the cart before the horse. I understand. I'm putting the binding before the basting. That's funny. But maybe every time I do a cheesy like I say something cheesy, I'll use my little Stream Deck and play Dusty Springfield. So you don't want to put the binding before the bobbin. Yeah. I suppose you can do that on YouTube, but we're not doing it there. We're doing it here. Yeah. Okay. Where was I? Yes. I want to be a partner. I don't know. I don't even know why. It just seems like a good goal for a new project like this. So affiliate. What does this mean now? I mention it because if I'm like, Twitch is great, it's like, well, why? Why is it great? If you're an affiliate, which means, and there's just these markers, like you have to have 50 followers, you have to stream X amount of hours per week, for a few weeks. Carol Hempel, yes. Carol, when you get roped into a meeting that you didn't expect, just tell them. You're like, I have a date on Twitch. I'm expected on twitch.tv. And they'll be like, wow. And they'll be like, you're a very cool person. You must go and be cool. I'm sorry that you had a meeting that you didn't expect, unless it was a really good meeting. It might have been. Carol is like one of the very, very first people who came to keep me company. And so Carol's pretty great. There's Diobeb. Okay. Ooh. I'm going to tell you about affiliate. I keep things in my mind. I'm pretty good, I think, at keeping things like stacked. So don't worry. But I have to say hello to Diobeb because she says, "Hi, Mary. I've kept up with your chats, but this is the first time I've caught it live from the beginning. I have learned so much. Thank you for the rabbit holes. I love listening while I'm quilting." Yes, that is what I want. Oh, I'm so happy. That is what I want because I know how nice it is to have content, quilt content, while you're making a quilt. I mean, we love this stuff, so like we want to like eat it all up, Diobeb, I am so happy that you're here. And I am never gonna like dog somebody else's stuff. And like, thank goodness for the Quilt Podcast. Thank goodness for them. Okay, I am a big fan. My mom and I had a podcast for like 5 minutes before we got shut down by the powers that be. It's a long story. I'll tell you one day. But here's the thing. Like I said, podcasts good, but Twitch is a visual medium. Podcasts you listen to, and that's lovely. And you can hear your favorite quilters being interviewed, and you can hear the dulcet tones of the host's voice, right? But we're visual people. We make visual things, right? And so it's not just about our imagination. So podcasts are great, but Twitch, I can show you all the stuff. We can say, oh yeah, this hexie quilt that, inspired me, right? Or whatever. And I can show you the quilt. So that is really special. And that is really compelling to me. And stitching and twitching. Stitching and twitching. Eric. Stitching and twitching. Stitching and twitching. Oh, I love it. Yeah. 4512. Yeah, stitching and twitching. I love it. Oh, it's so good. It's so much better than stitching, bitch. I mean, it's funny, the stitching, bitch, but it is a little bit, not safe for work. It's a little blue. Anyway, so on this thing, we can look at stuff and we can watch videos, which we've done. I love watching videos with you all. I think that's really, really a cool thing to do. I don't think we should do it every time, but I love it. Okay. Stitching and twitching. Ridiculous. Okay. So here's the deal. So now that I'm an affiliate, what that means is that I can, oh, what does it all mean? I wrote it down. I can make subscriptions, which, and the subscription levels at Twitch, I'm not going to talk too much about it now because I haven't figured it out yet. A, how it works, or B, how my subscriptions would work. But there's $4.99 subscriptions. There's $9.99 a month, and then $24.99. For $24, I have no idea what I could possibly offer you at $24.99. So don't worry about feeling pressed to get one of those. But like, if you have a subscription, then you get like I'll offer like members only chats where, you know, it is a special stream just for you, or maybe we'll sew together, you know, like maybe I'll stream like and we'll sew, and I don't know. Maybe if you think of something that sounds good to you, you can tell me, you know, email me, mary@maryfons.com. I should probably get a Twitch email. Wait, someone subscribed. Crafty Monkeys. Okay, everything's happening. What's going on? Okay, Crafty Monkeys. Hey, Mary, I'm new to Twitch. Same. Basically all of us. SW Firefly seems extremely cool and like OG on Twitch, but the rest of us, pretty new. Saw your story on Insta. Looks like a lot of fun. It totally is. I hope you agree. By the way, I've emailed you and DM'd you. Would love to hook up in a quilting way, although your jumper does look great. Okay, Rachel. Several people in the chat right now. Is Nori here? Nori, did you come? Are you here yet? I'm very bad at email. I am very bad at it. I did send a few emails before the stream to catch up, but I get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed with it. But what I really, really am bad at is the Instagram DMs or the Facebook DMs. I think a lot of people use Facebook and Instagram as their primary like email, if you will, which great. I completely missed the boat on that. I am like boomering out here. But Rachel, okay, I will email you back. It's not cool. It's not cool. I hate it. It's truly like, if there was one thing you could change about yourself, what would it be? I mean, it wouldn't be like, I wish I could play the violin, you know? I'd be like, I wish I was better at just seeing an email and just emailing back. I'm not the only one who wishes I was better at this. Okay, Crafty Monkeys, duly noted. I'm really glad you're here. Yeah, so now we have people. Exactly, Molly. You love podcasts, but you can't interact. Exactly. There are 2 people who have subscribed to my channel. I have nothing to offer you. Star Sundance and SW Firefly. I mean, what? Yeah, you may have gone into spam. It's true. Thank you for subscribing. I'll give you something. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. That is very exciting. Eric, 2 people subscribed. I don't even have a program yet. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Oh, Lord. Don't need anything but your company. Okay. We should maybe, so like one of the things that you get when you become, I think it's a partner, you get emotes. Like I can design emoticons, basically. They call them emotes in Twitch. But like I could make like a thimble. And it could be like a dancing thimble or something. It could be some kind of icon that we all like. And then like every time I cry or something on a stream, like you can like send a thimble, something like I'm still working it out, but one step at a time, right? I couldn't even think about any of that stuff until I got that affiliate onboarding tax stuff all worked out. So I will have, how do you subscribe? Hype Train. Oh, you guys are good at Twitch. Somebody help Bip, because I subscribe to a couple channels, but I don't know how to do it from my own screen. So yeah, this is great. I will have a subscription like program or something that gives you stuff. I mean, you should have stuff, you know, subscribing. I just canceled a subscription to a magazine. That is completely off the point. Okay. Let's do this. So first of all, on your screen right now is just some pretty things. Oh, Sydney. Oh yeah, you can gift a subscription. Okay. I gotta leave the chat for a second because I have to take us through this journey tonight. Oh yeah, and I remember now what I was saying. Now that I'm an affiliate, I want to do, the partner thing one day. And maybe one way that I can work toward that is I usually do a 2-hour stream. But maybe we do like a 4-hour stream sometime. Listen, that happens with the gamers. Some gamers, and it's not necessarily the best use of your time to stream for like 8 hours. Maybe you should stream a little bit here, a little bit there. work on getting your channel built in this different way. But some people do like 8-hour gaming streams where they're playing like Call of Duty, for 8 hours. I don't think an 8-hour quilt stream is going to happen. But what if I did like kind of a marathon? I mean, I don't know. Why not? Maybe we take a break halfway through. Maybe I do like 2 hours and then 2 hours. I don't know. I just like it. I like it. And you don't have to stay. What if it was like a lecture and it's like, I'm hosting a workshop that's 4 hours, or a lecture that's 4 hours long. Want to buy a ticket to that where you're held captive, Twitch is nice because you can just leave if you want to. Okay, so on your screen, there are 3 things. The quilt on the right is a hexie and star quilt. It's satin. It's from the Met Museum, I believe. I have it as a background image on something, my tablet or something like that. And so it was hanging out on my desktop, and so I grabbed it and just put it up here for you. So during the introduction, you can look at a beautiful quilt. It is satin. It is definitely, it's 19th century for sure, probably like 1850 or earlier, I would say. I'm not a quilt appraiser by any means, but you can kind of, 1850, okay, so I'm not a quilt appraiser, but when you look at a quilt, sometimes, the dye that was used in the fabrics is helpful. That's a clue, and I'm going to talk about dye in a second. You date a quilt by the most recent, is that the most recent? The most recent fabric. Yeah, the most recent fabric in a quilt, the most recently manufactured, the print that was most recently manufactured. That's how you know about when it might have been made. So you look at the newest fabric and the oldest fabric. Because a woman could make a quilt with her grandmother's scraps. But that doesn't mean that the quilt was made, if a woman in 1950 makes a quilt with her grandmother's scraps and they're all 1900 fabrics, if you see the quilt that the woman made in 1950, you might say, oh, this is a quilt from 1900. But no, she's just used her grandmother's scraps. And so that can be a little bit tough. But if she incorporates some of her own scraps with that, it helps a lot, because you can say, well, that's a 1950s fabric, and so we know that this quilt had to, it was newer than just 1900, because in 1900 they didn't have that fabric, I'll stop talking about quilt appraisal right now because I don't want to say anything wildly wrong. Sibby Mac, yes. Thank you for subscribing. Well, this is exciting. Gosh, I didn't think that would happen. I thought I'd need to put something together for you, but I will. So that's just a pretty quilt. I just wanted to show it to you. Yeah, satin. It's probably later than 1850 because different satins being available and plentiful and cheap enough to make a quilt like that. Yeah. So it's hexies, but it's really not all hexies, is it? Yeah. Hexies and stars. Well, anyway, we're going to click out of it and look at this. Well, I don't know. I found this. I don't know where I found it, but I thought it was cute. So I put that up there too. It's a cross stitch. Have you done cross stitch? Or cross stitch specifically? Put a 1 in the chat if you've done cross stitch specifically. Carol, thank you. I haven't, but my mom did. When she was, pregnant with my sister Hannah, pregnant with me, pregnant with Rebecca, out on the farm, she did cross stitch. And so we have these wonderful samplers, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the alphabet, the numbers 1 through 10, and hype train. Honey, I got a hype train. I don't even know what a hype train is, but I got a hype train. That's crazy. Kathy 444, I'm so glad you're here. I think you're new. I don't know. I'm glad that you're here. Maybe you've just been lurking. That's totally okay. If you are lurking and you haven't entered the chat, you haven't done anything in the chat, you do not have to. I will never call out somebody who, like there's some Twitch channels where if you comment, if you click watch and you start watching the stream, they get like an alert that you've come into the room, so to speak. And I learned by watching a lot of Twitch content, like how to do Twitch stuff, that it's like uncool for a creator, a host, to be like, hey, yo, Mary Fons, how are you? Like, because maybe I just want to hang out and I don't want to chat. Maybe I just want to lurk and like watch somebody crochet, So until somebody enters something into the chat and says hi, like I'm not gonna be like, hey, Quilter 952, how are you? Because maybe you don't want to talk. That's okay. I totally get it. But Kathy 4444, you said lunchtime at work. You entered the chat. You said hello. Welcome everybody. Welcome Kathy. And so I can call you. I can call you out by name and say welcome. Let's see. So, Virginia, I wrote down Michelle. You had to in school. Okay, you had to do embroidery or cross stitch in school. It was an all-girls school. Wow. And my husband has subscribed to my Twitch channel. This is very good. Cross stitch with an embroidery machine. 4512, does cross stitch with an embroidery machine count? I think so. Totally. Totally. Yes, it counts. Many of you have, many of you have done cross stitch. I really want to. It looks so cool. Quilters piece it all together, don't we? Don't we all? Don't we though? So that's cute. I should have figured out where I got it. It's someone's work. But then the last thing that I'll show you here is that's a William Morris design. I need a chip. And William Morris, the famous designer, English, Liberty of London, very inspired by William Morris. In fact, Mr. Liberty, and Liberty of London, we have to talk about Liberty at some point. The man who started that shop, it was a few people in the beginning and then it became his name was Liberty. It wasn't just like, what should we name our shop? Something beautiful, something eternal. Liberty. No, his name was Liberty. And he was like very in love with his wife, and she was amazing. It was very interesting. I got the personal tour at Liberty because I did a little work for them last year. And they're just friends, right? So William Morris was one of, I believe he started his career at Liberty, I'm pretty sure. So when you look at the designs of Liberty of London, you'll see a lot of similarities. And I think William Morris designed, fabric for Liberty, just like Quilt Appraisal. I'm going to stop talking about William Morris's career until I know more. We will look at him together. I want to welcome Cora's Quilts. Cora, you might have been here once before. And I was thinking that because Mike McCormick of Quilt Folk, his oldest daughter, they had just had another baby. Her name's Cora. And I think that I was thinking of that before. Cora, you say it's a gateway drug to quilting. Yes, embroidery, cross stitch, knitting, garment making, these are all gateway drugs. And I love that you use that term. I have always said that the baby quilt is a gateway drug. So a lot of people, they start, doing the first quilt they ever make is a baby quilt for their friend, or their sister or something, or for themselves, and they get hooked. So get them with the babies. Get them while they're young. I want to do cross stitch. Anyway, so William Morris. The reason I have this up here is because today when I was working on, hey Nori, Nori's here. The party can now begin. I was working on the Bronte quilt lecture, and we're doing a workshop through Quilt Folk. Tonight's just like a Quilt Folk night. Believe me, you'll see what I mean in a second. But I'm teaching with Jenny Smith all about the Bronte quilt, the Bronte sisters. Yes, those Bronte sisters made a quilt, and I have it nearby, and I'm going to show it to you. And you can take a workshop with us on October 16th and 17th. We will teach you about this quilt. I wish the picture was better. Look, similarities. we're going to talk about this quilt and the Bronte sisters, and it's through Quilt Folk. And if you go to quiltfolk.com and click on workshops, you can take the workshop. You'll learn how to sew stuff. You'll learn pieces of this quilt, how to make it. You'll get a pattern. We do a live stream section or portion where Jenny and I are going to have, we're going to have tea. And she told me today what she's going to make. It's not Yorkshire pudding, but it's like Yorkshire something else. And she said, oh, it's like a caramel cake, sticky cake. I can't do her accent. It's so good. And I was like, yes, that sounds excellent. I would like to have that. So we're going to have that with you. And I give a lecture about half an hour long, nothing too arduous, about what kinds of quilts were being made in the early 1800s. So I was working on it today. And I was looking at fabric dye. And I was looking at textile manufacturing in England, in Yorkshire. Poison green. Poison green. Do you know about poison green? Is that a thing that you have heard? Surely you have heard about poison green. It is sticky pudding, Molly, but it's something she had when she said Yorkshire. It was a word that started with P. I'm pretty sure. And I asked her, I was like, oh, is that Yorkshire pudding, only you all call it something else? And she said, no, it's different. It's some kind of cake. And I looked up Yorkshire foods because I thought, what else could we have to eat, on the live stream for the workshop that would be very Yorkshire? And there's something called a curd cake, which is like a cheesecake. And I'm a little disappointed that Jenny's not going to make that, but I can make it. Poison green is refers to a shade of green that was used in, it was a dye, and it had arsenic in it. Okay, so it's actually in the late 1700s, I believe, is when it was found. Hang on. See, I didn't know I was going to talk that much about poison green, but we're gonna take a look. Arsenic was used in this green, and let me just read this to you. Poison green, 19th century. Okay, so Barbara Brackman, the great Barbara Brackman, quilt scholar, has some stuff on this, and I'll tell you. Okay. Green dyes and pigments is what we're talking about, based on copper arsenate, arsenic. Okay. Chemist Carl Wilhelm Scheele. It's called Scheele's green, Scheele. He was born in 1742. Whoa, and died in 1786, probably from arsenic poisoning. Carl Wilhelm Scheele, in the 18th century, discovered arsenic's use as a coloring agent in 1778. Okay, I was right. So late 1700s. I know the fabric is beautiful. Yes, Yorkshire Parkin. Crafty Monkey, you did it. That's it. Yorkshire Parkin. And yes, Rhonda, this is like solvent green. I mean, well, kind of. It's really dangerous, this poison green dye. Thank you, Yorkshire Parkin. That's it. So, yes, acid green, poison green. It's all, that's what, you've got the right idea. So variations of this dye and pigment became extremely popular for dyeing and printing cloth and wallpaper, okay? And worst of all, for food coloring. Before pure food and drug laws, the only testing was trial and error on the part of the consumer. Decades went by before people realized that coloring marzipan with copper arsenate was an extreme health hazard. Wallpaper and silks could also sicken, if not kill. Check this out. I am going to show you. I got to get this away. Look, okay. Look at this. Ah, okay. That's really helpful, that function sometimes, but sometimes it is not fun. I'm sure you agree. Look at this. 1862, from Punch magazine, right? Classic old, comedy magazine, sort of. Yeah, anyway, Punch magazine. Long history there. The Arsenic Waltz. This was a cartoon that ran in the Punch magazine, The New Dance of Death. dedicated to the green wreath and dress mongers, I think is what it said. So this green was poisoning people. The green had arsenic in it. So if they were eating it, they were wearing it, they were putting it on the walls of their homes with wallpaper, they were hanging green drapes. And just like other greens, like the green that we know of from the Depression era quilts, like that mint green, I mean, just think about all the ways we can go in this show, like Depression era quilts, dyes, you know, all that stuff. It's so much fun. Part of the reason it was so popular, you know, I assume, and it's safe to say, is that it was a new color. I mean, when Scheele figured it out, how to make this bilious, brilliant, kind of like neon green color, people wanted it and everything because it was awesome, you know? And that was kind of the same thing, the green, the mint green, institutional green, later in like the 1930s that you see on every grandmother's flower garden quilt ever, you know, that was a new shade too, because technology changes, technology advances. And so quilts change too, you know, that the look of our quilts has changed, not just because people are trying new things, but because new things are possible to try. You know, they didn't have, well, I was going to say they didn't have hot pink fabric, you know, back in the day, but I mean, this looks pretty hot pink to me, honestly, doesn't it? So bright. But like a neon pink fabric, people weren't really making neon pink so much, you know, before like the 20th century. So like quilts with neon pink in them start to appear, right? But so the poison green was really, really bad. Let's see what else Barbara Brackman has to say. Yes, Scheele was a victim of his own chemical experiments. Oh, I'm ignoring the chat. Okay, good. It's so beautiful, you could die. Oh, Star Sundance, didn't you come? Who came up with stitchin' and twitchin'? I want to give credit where it's due, so I won't guess. But that's very funny. You're all very funny. I don't think I haven't noticed. Okay, Scheele was a victim of his own chemical experiments, dying at 44. Yeah, right, in 1786, long before Scheele's green was found to be poisonous. Oh, so he got off scot-free. He wasn't taken to task for killing people. He was killing people. I do not want to travel back in time. Agreed. Molly. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me get this picture up here. This is tiny, but here's a parlor, okay? No, it's low res, but look at that parlor all done up in poison green. Barbara says, in the first half of the 17th century, green silk dresses were quite the mode. Fashionable homes required a green room. Below is the green room at the White House. That's a green room at the White House in 1875. Now that's interesting because in my days on the stage, you know, of course there's a green room for the performers. Is there a connection there? I don't know. I need a drink of water. By the 1860s, people became aware. Okay, by the 1860s, people became aware of the toxic qualities in Scheele's green. Pale green fashion fell out of fashion until a better, non-toxic mint green became available in the 1920s. Excellent. I was not wrong. Barbara Brackman knows everything, but she said it became available in the 20s, and I thought it wasn't until the 30s, so that's very interesting. Poison green, yikes. Wow, read the history of the White House green room. A timeline of taste and the color green. Look at that, White House Museum. Oh, wow. Wow, poison green. Oh, wow, look at that, the green room in 1999, looking northeast. There's no way that that's the arsenic. That's the arsenic. They must, well, of course, they replaced it with another non-toxic green. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Isn't that interesting about poison green? Okay. So that's what I had up on your screen at the beginning of the stream. Okay. So I have wine tonight. It's almost 6 o'clock. It's happy hour. So what I have to share. I know I love that shade too. What I have to share is very cool. So I'm here in the UK and I'm doing this Bronte thing because I'm here and I can go to Yorkshire, and I'm going to Yorkshire on Sunday to do some work on it with Jenny. And Mike McCormick of Quilt Folk, we did a little London Quilt Folk PDF thing a few years ago when I was here. And we're doing some stuff here in England, obviously, So Quilt Folk is like expanding a little bit, right? We don't have like offices in London, unless you count, this. It's not quite like that. We're not doing a UK edition of the full magazine yet or anything. But this Bronte workshop has been hugely popular. People are like super into this, for good reason. It's totally different and unique. It's going to be really fun. And so Mike and I were talking about like, this is cool. People like this. What else should we do? And some other ideas were raised about, some other things in England. It would be so fun. I want to go to Wales. I've always wanted to go to Wales to see these quilts, these Welsh quilts. We should look at them. We should look at everything. But out of my mouth, and I hadn't thought about it. I truly had not thought about it. Before talking to Mike yesterday, I was like, well, we should go out of England. Like, why don't we do like a workshop, like programmy thing in like Paris? And that's why I have to tell you, like, I didn't think about it before I said it out of my mouth because, it's like, oh yeah, Mary, why don't you go to Paris and do a workshop, on boutique quilting or something, or Provence, the beautiful fabrics out of Provence, Sounds pretty good, right? But I realized that I hadn't thought about that at all because we couldn't travel. And look, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh yeah, the show and tell. Jenny's great. We couldn't travel, and we may not be able to, for who knows. But right now, we can. I'm fully vaxxed. I take COVID seriously. I wear my mask. I do the thing. And so, like, I was like, Mike, if we're kind of establishing Quilt Folk as being, having this, like, branch, this other branch, this international branch, let's go to Spain. Like, we can go there now. So, like, why don't we do a workshop that is, like, that's not in England, and not even in Wales yet. Maybe we go to Provence, or we go to Catalonia. I don't know, because I don't know that much about quilts outside of the United States. And I think we have a very good opportunity to learn. Because Mike was like, he's so great. He's a brother from another mother, 1,000%. He was like, yeah. He's like, great. Let's figure out how to do it. Let's take a couple cameras. Not huge, like it's not Hollywood, but take some good sound and, cameras, little cameras to another country and talk about the quilts there. And then, just like the Bronte workshop, Jenny's going to teach quilting techniques. I could, but I don't want to anymore. I'm done with the how-to stuff. There are better teachers than I am, for sure. But, she's going to do the sewing part. I'm going to do the history, culture part. I'm going to Yorkshire on Sunday because Monday we're going to go to the Bronte parsonage, and we're going to film, B-roll, they call it. We're going to film Jenny and I. We're going to look at the quilt. And so for this class, you're going to get instruction, history, context, and then a live stream high tea with us. Well, if we did it let's put something together for Paris. I mean, let's put something together for Sweden. I've been making content for so long, like the magazine and stuff. I can put together a show. So let's do it, And okay, so that's what we're gonna look at something today. I want to look at Sweden. I don't know anything about Swedish quilts. I don't know anything. Now let's see. So Star Sundance, you'd love to see quilting history out of Scotland and Ireland. Is that a thing? I don't know. I mean, Yes. And what's really wonderful about quilts, one of the things, just make our long list straight, they're everywhere. I mean, they are absolutely everywhere. Look at this. Check this out. What do I want to say? Pakistan. Yeah, look at this. Oh yeah, Raleigh quilts. Okay, hang on. Raleigh quilts. These quilts, these are Raleigh quilts, and they are out of India, Pakistan. I mean, look. This. I mean, can we just appreciate how those are quarter square triangles? Can we just appreciate how this is a medallion quilt, just like this one? I mean, essentially center point of focus. You know, all these little pieces. I mean, Raleigh quilts they did have hot pink apparently over there early on, because they're such wonderful, brilliant. Hang on, let me find. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my button. I just used my International Quilt Museum button. Are they going to give us Raleigh? Yeah, look. So, so these quilts, Pakistan, India. I'm going to get to like one that I know of. Sorry, I don't like to make you dizzy, but they have so many of these. Quilts are everywhere. So no matter where you are, no matter where you go, you'll find them. Look at this. Look at that. It's a Ohio star, or whatever. So if we go to Scotland, right, Star Sundance, if we go to, I can't make that bigger. If we go to Ireland, like, yes, there will be quilts there. There will be quilts. And we can learn about them, together. And that's what I want to do today. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is what I want to look at. Let's look at Sweden. I don't know the first thing about Swedish quilts. I know that there are some, and I have like 2 links to start us off on. Look at that. Isn't that great? That's from Pakistan. And when was it made? It was made in, 1980 to 2000. But they get real old. Like, they've been making these for a very long time. It's just patchwork, man. So it's awesome. So, where should Quiltfolk go next, Like, where should we go? And I kind of feel like Durham. Oh, yeah. Okay, Durham. Molly, you just bought a book on antique Swedish quilts. I think I saw that book. I'm ignorant. Where's Durham? Diobab, where's Durham? What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we're going to go next. Maybe it's Sweden, maybe it's somewhere else. But let me know where. South Korea. Oh, South Korea. That would be really good. I think we might stay on the continent for a couple, like the next 2, maybe. But I know a brilliant woman in Japan, in Tokyo. She has a quilt shop in Tokyo, Kyoto. She is so lovely and wonderful. And so we got a connection in Tokyo, Japan, man. So, yeah. South Korea, that would be amazing. I would really like to go to South Korea. I really would. I was just saying it the other day. So I've got a couple links that I pulled up to look at Swedish quilts. And, I don't know. Let's see what we get, Where did I put those links? I have to think. Okay, I know where they are. I have to open this up. Oh, I need to check. Okay, Crafty Monkeys. You should come to us next. It's such a great idea. Come and do quilt history chats with us via Zoom. Oh yeah, that's why I contacted you. Oh, well, it's a good reason to get back in touch, right? I'm so sorry. Our worldwide pupils have asked us to do talks like this. Oh, you gotta go. Okay, you have a live Zoom at 6. You're the best. Yes, Crafty Monkeys is written with a big circle around it. I hope you have good luck. Good luck. Good luck on the Zoom. Ah, yes, okay, good. Scottish samplers are done primarily in red and green. Netherlands and Switzerland, Bonnie McLeod. Interesting. Well, McLeod's a pretty Scottish name, isn't it? All right, let me get this link. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. So here, Eric and I were talking about this last night. Sorry, I'm gonna focus. I've been bouncing around because I'm so excited. So Mike and I had that conversation. I talked to Eric, as excited as I am now. And we were just like, yeah, wow, gosh, she could go, and anywhere. And we were listing countries, right? Naming countries. And he said Sweden at one point, and I was like, where? Yeah, I was like, yeah, Sweden. Cool. I've never been there. I have not been to many places, people. I have not. I was married briefly. We talked about it, I think, a couple streams ago or something, briefly, tragically, to a fellow who was first generation Croatian. So I was in Croatia a couple times. Lovely. France, Germany. I dated a German. It's always this man. It snowed in Berlin, and we went to visit the Stasi prison, and I knew we were going to break up. It was not fun. God, Klaus, the philosophy professor. I was crazy about him. Anyway, where was I? So, Germany, France, England, but not the UK. I haven't been to Scotland yet. I haven't been to Ireland yet. Croatia, Canada. I mean, I'm just not that well traveled. I'm not. And so the idea to go to Sweden, not just go to France next, right? Because I've been there and it seems like an obvious choice to go to France. Oh, Italy. I've been in Italy. Okay. To go somewhere else. And so I was like, Sweden is interesting because I did recall something back in the back of my mind. I had seen something on Swedish quilting, and it was this. Usually, if you're new in the room, I have to tell you, we rarely look at scholarly papers on this show because I know what's going on. I know you don't want to look at that. How about poison green? But we have to take a look at this because there's pictures in it. So look at okay, so Swedish Quilts. You are Scottish, yes, Bonnie McLeod. Okay, good. Yeah, Scotland. I'm Scots-Irish, so my people hail from there as well. Laurel Horton is a famous, she is well-known, well-regarded quilt scholar. And she's funny and she's lovely and she lives in South Carolina. And she's done a lot of work on quilts. And she wrote this paper in 2009, which I found probably when I was researching Laurel Horton, because I wrote an article about her for Quilt Folk. Swedish quilts in the context of the, do not know how to say that. Hang on one second. Did you know that Google Translate now, look, it can detect the language, Swedish detected, handicraft. Swedish quilts in the context of the handicraft movement. The internet is ruining everything, but it's still pretty awesome. Let's hear how to say it.
Hemslöjd.
What? Hang on.
Hemslöjd.
Hemslöjd. Wow. Hemslöjd.
Hemslöjd.
Okay. Hemslöjd. Now we can read it. Swedish quilts in the context of the hemslöjd movement. Okay. So, Laurel goes to, watch out, I'm gonna scroll fast, don't get dizzy. Oh, well, I didn't have to. So the Laurel Horton is there on the right, and Maria Lamar is there on the left. And I'll just skim through this a little bit to give us context. This is Laurel, my interest in Swedish quilts dates from 1997, when I met Maria Lamar at the American Quilt Study Group meeting. She had been researching quilts in southeastern Sweden and was looking for colleagues and ideas. Isn't that nice? I love a good conference. Things like this happen. I wanted to know more about European quilt making as a way of looking at American quilts within a larger context. Same. Oh, wow. Wow. I made my research trip in 2000 with Stockholm as my base. Oh my gosh. I want to go to Stockholm. How awesome. I spent 3 weeks visiting museums, and meeting with curators, quilt makers, following my own leads as well as Maria's suggestions. Hang on. Okay. Okay. I gotta close that. I don't want that to be a problem. Okay. Okay, she's in Stockholm. Love this. Oh, wow. Okay. Log Barn. The world's oldest open-air museum. Wow. Okay, I'm scrolling. Wow. Cotton whole cloth quilt in Skansen. In the bedroom of a farmhouse at Skansen, I found a quilt. This turned out to be the only quilt I saw on long-term display in a Swedish museum. Skansen is widely seen by Swedes and visitors alike as the quintessential representation of Swedish folk culture and artifacts. Very, very interesting. Wow, look at that. Okay, cool. Not surprised to see that. Oh, yeah, okay. But I already knew Swedish quilts exist, Laurel says. This is like the most fun scholarly paper I've ever read. Lots of photographs, and it's just fun. Okay, So there's a book. Old Swedish Quilts, Molly, that's probably the one you had, right? Or the one you got. Published in 95. Okay. So there's basically what we learned from this, and now we're going to go just find more stuff. But this paper confirms that there's a lot of quilt stuff going on in Sweden. What up? So we need to go there. Okay, Molly. That's... Oh, I just had an idea. If you sign up for my subscription at $24.99, you can come with me to all over the world to look at quilts. I think it'd be more complicated than that, but yeah, maybe it's like if you subscribe, that's so much money. Like I subscribe to a few fancy like literary journals, and maybe they cost that much. Anyway, but like maybe it's a lottery. Like if you subscribe at $24.99, you go into a drawing. And then you can come with me to Sweden. I mean, why not? Log cabin. Okay, so log cabin. This is amazing. This is just amazing. Look at that. Swedish quilts are often narrow, made to fit narrow box beds. Interesting. Even quilts made in blocks tend to have a central focus. Oh, I love this. Some of them are quirky, probably because there were no popular culture influences telling the makers what quilts had to look like. That's wool. And let me tell you, if Laurel Horton if she, has a hypothesis, she's probably right. I mean, it probably is. They had no, guide to what patchwork quilts should look like, so they just made them. And I love it. I love weird quilts. Weird as in different from what we make. But different from what the standard is in the United States of, what am I trying to, jelly roll quilts or something like that. I really like quilts that look so very like iconoclastic or whatnot. Just in other countries in the late 19th century, some Swedish quilt makers chose to preserve commemorative scarves, handkerchiefs, tablecloths by surrounding them with patchwork. Happened a lot. King Oscar II, campaign handkerchiefs often sewn into quilts. Lots of those around. 1914, this woman. Okay, so there's an exhibition. So now, if you're working to do something for Quiltfolk, as I am, you comb through this kind of thing and you find names and you find, institutions like whoever put this exhibition on, Skazen or something. And you just start tracking people down, It's like, where are these quilts? Where is your quilt? Where can we see them? Can we come photograph you, And most of the time, people say yes. It's interesting. I mean, Quiltfolk is so well regarded now, We really, pretty much all we have to do at this point to get somebody to give us a little time to talk about whether or not they would like to meet with us and have a photo shoot. We just give them a copy of the magazine. It's so beautiful. People are like, oh, great. Well, we'd love to be featured in this magazine. Thank you so much. Instead of being like, what is this about? In the beginning, there was a little bit of that, but not anymore. I love this red. And I love red when it's in little small doses like that. Whoa, this is intense. Embroidered silk whole cloth quilt. Wow. She says the earliest Swedish quilts she saw dated from the late 18th century. Okay. They're silk. The border of this one was embroidered after it was quilted. Wow, that's kind of a scary picture. I don't know. I think that quilt is maybe haunted. Okay. Let me see. Oh, she's very lovely. Oh, doesn't she look Swedish? I mean, I don't know. It's just this sort of apple cheeks, and just this nice, demeanor. Yeah, I think it could be really fun. So that's a long paper. So hang on. Let me pull it down here, because I just sometimes when there's scrolling, and maybe I'm worrying too much about it, but I just scrolling really fast. Like if I'm hanging out with somebody, we're looking at their computer and they're scrolling really fast, I really feel sort of ill. So I don't want to do that to you. But I'm going to make sure there's not another picture that, I just have to show you. Interesting. Wow. Oh, wow. Huh. Oh, no. That's okay. So, yeah, I mean, look, here's contemporary quilters. And this was in the late 90s. So, let's see, late 90s. So they're 30 years older than they were in this picture. Doesn't matter. But it'll be, they'll be making different kinds of quilts now if they're making quilts. So anyway, so let's find some Swedish quilts. There's one link that I found. But from there, I don't know. Let's just see where it goes, okay? Let's just see where it goes. Okay, Raleigh Quilts, you're out. You're out. So I Googled, Swedish quilts or something, and then I stopped because I was like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do on Thursday. We're going to just go hunting down what is the quilt in Sweden. What is it? What is it like? I don't know. We're going to find out together. All right. Oh, yeah. There's something else up there on your screen. You might have seen it. It's that purple thing, that purple bar. Twitch tells me setting goals is important. Thanks, Mom. And it would be great to get to 150 followers. Not that that's some benchmark that, something crazy happens, but that'd be great if you're in the chat and you are like, yeah, I like this thing. If you would follow me. It's not subscribers, it's follow. So if you follow me, that'd be great because I'd like to reach that goal. I mean, it's a goal. That seems like a good thing to have. Okay, so this is someone's blog. It is current. Monday, September 20th. She blogged this week. It's great. So this is Marilyn. Okay. There's a reason I found this. Is she okay? I mean, there has to be a reason why I clicked on this. Well, it says, I know. Sorry. That's what I want. I clicked on her homepage. Okay. So this is the book. Molly. This has to be the one you're talking about and the one I have to get. So Marilyn says, and that's Marilyn. Lovely. Quilts are found in many different countries. This book features beautiful quilts made in Sweden during the late 1800s to 1930s. Wow. Okay. Log cabin. Sure. Everybody all around the world makes log cabin quilts. What is this? I mean, this was considered a crazy quilt. This is wool. Wow. That's really interesting. Oh, yes. There's something. Okay. You saw an ad. Okay. On my note, I meant to say this, that, yeah, now that I'm an affiliate, like that means ads. And I don't know. I hate that. I hate it, but I can't turn it off. But I can. There's something I can do, and I want to do it, where I put where I can play the ads that they will play, like Twitch will play ads. As far as I understand, I can play them at the beginning, like when I start the stream, there's a few ads, and then I start, right? So that we get the ads out of the way. I don't understand it yet, but I hate ads. I hate them. I never had them on my blog for years and years and years because I hate them. But I think it's just part of the beast. I think YouTube does it too, right? But I'm going to figure out how to put the ads at the beginning so that we don't have that interruption, at least as much as we can avoid it. I hate that so much. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Natalie. Yeah, I mean, wait, were you here? Yeah, you were here. here. No, I don't think you were. Well, I'm so glad. So yeah, it's just awful. No ads if you subscribe. Ooh. Well, that's a reason to subscribe, isn't it? That I subscribe to YouTube Red Premium or whatever because I won't watch ads. I just can't. So that's a good reason to subscribe. If nothing else. No ads, yeah. So sorry, you guys. I don't know how to do anything about it yet, but I will. I will, because I'm with you. I just hate that. And I don't like scary movies. So if it was an ad about a scary movie, double thumbs down. Okay, so this one, look at this. Oh, I love this quilt. I love this quilt. Now what's interesting, I just wonder if, did you miss anything? Like, when the ads play, does it pause me? And then there is more of a delay? I don't know. I gotta figure it out. If it did cut away from me, I'm just looking at Swedish Quilts. It's pretty much what happened before. It was happening before the ads might have played, but I got a lot to learn. This is a wool quilt. That's a very interesting quilt. That reminds me of another quilt I saw in South Carolina. Very intricate, very complicated, tiny little pieces of it in wool with embroidery. And this is like beautiful. This is beautiful. Okay. It's small. Isn't that wonderful? It reminds me of some of the quilts we saw, from Rod Kirikoff in his book, Unconventional and Unexpected, which is having its second edition out from Quilt Folk and Schiffer Publishing. There's just a universal sort of improv piecing thing that happens. It happens in the American South. It happens in West Virginia. It happens in Sweden, apparently. That's a whole, right? Like, I'm looking at that and I can see daylight. I think that's what that is. It's great. It's great. Make do quilts or everyday quilts is what those are sometimes called. Okay. She says, and Marilyn, this blogger, is getting this from the book, Old Swedish Quilts. So we know this is correct. Well, we hope that she translated that well enough. She says, during this time period, many people in Sweden were extremely poor. I wonder why. Like, was there a famine or some kind of, thing? The only way to have a blanket, you know what I mean. Like, was there, yeah. During this time period, many people in Sweden were extremely poor. Was there a famine? Was there a depression like there was in, much of the world in the 30s? That's what I'm saying. The only way to have a blanket or covering to sleep under was to use odds and ends of pieces of fabric plus pieces of old clothes to make a quilt. Interesting, yes. Molly, I see you. When Asa Wettre, author of Old Swedish Quilts, I've got to find her. Let's Google her. Is she around? What is she doing? When she started collecting quilts, people wouldn't even acknowledge having old quilts in the attic because they considered them old rags. This is fascinating. I've heard this before. Happens a lot, actually. It wasn't until later that people would reluctantly bring them out and start telling the stories behind the making of the quilt. The book ends with a touching story of an elderly lady in a nursing home that kept asking for her quilt. Finally, it was brought to her, and she shared the stories of her life through the quilt. There were snippets of her dress as a child, her wedding dress, and even a piece of the pants of a son that died. Each piece in the quilt had a story. Amazing. You can't say that about, like, I don't know, a whole lot of stuff. Quilts are special. They're just special. So let's just look up this person who wrote this. Let me see. Hang on, I gotta do this. I need you. I pushed my button to get that to happen. It's very cool. But it was still on the Lord, okay. Figure out ads, figure out other stuff. I do know that this is working. Hang on, I'm gonna get this pulled up here. Okay. Okay. So, Asa Wettre. Okay, let's see. Good read. By the way, if you're watching this for the first time, and you, or if you've watched it before, but if you're new here and you like what this is about, I would love it if you would tell a friend, because Twitch is so new to the quilting community. I mean, it's just a really new deal. And the best way for me to, get people excited about it, to sort of bring more people in, is going to be through you, because I don't think Instagram and Facebook really want to, when I say, oh, I'm coming on Twitch, today, I don't think the algorithm really likes to promote that kind of post. And I mean it, they don't want you to go to another platform. They want you to stay on their platform. So I think word of mouth and like gifted subscriptions, I saw a couple of those go out. That'll be the way to get the party, like, even bigger, right? Which is what we want. So please tell a friend and tell them it's not scary. And you don't have to play a video game or anything. Let's see. So, thank you. I don't know that Asa has... Oh, she doesn't have a website, but this person met up with her. Interesting. Okay. And... Oh, that's interesting. Okay. No problem. Internet, I can do that. Wow. Okay, that's great. I love that. So who are we? Who is this? Fine little store based in Sweden, available worldwide. What is this? What does this mean? We're gonna come back. Hang on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And we're gonna do this. And we're gonna go to about. What even is this? Here's the thing. If I can find... I forget who was in Omaha. Forgive me. There's a lot going on, right? But just how I said, when we are doing these projects, when we go and travel and meet quilters for Quiltfolk or anything else, meeting a local who can help is so important. It's so helpful. And so is this a quilter? And does she have a shop? Because if that's what we're talking about here, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful to meet somebody like that. Okay, let me do this. We've been having a fine time with our internet. So I have faith that it'll be okay, but that's annoying. Okay, Sweden. This person is in Sweden. And Elizabeth Dunker is her name. Okay, I have to write these things down. Sweden. This is how it starts, with notes. Like that's how it all starts. Elizabeth Dunker. Fine Little Day. That's her blog. Fine Little Day. Okay. The blog is an inspiration focused and features everything from book reviews, patterns. Okay, so it's a blog that covers lots of things. Fine little store based in Sweden. Is it a store? I think it is. Fine Little Day. Fine Little Day! Look at that logo. That is so cute. Look at that font. What? Ugh! I'm dead. Really? Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Look at that jacket. Are you kidding me? Oh, okay. Shorts on YouTube. Oh, that's good. Oh, Natalie. Oh, I hate that. Okay. Yeah, the ads are the worst, but I'll figure it out. Look at this. This is wonderful. So like this blog that we just saw was like started in 2007, which is 9,000 years ago, but she's still doing her thing. And Elizabeth Dunker just won an award. Wait. Fine Little Day art. Did they give an art award? I don't know. Because that's, Johanna Grigavora. Look at that jacket. Is that cool or what? So, free shipping in Sweden. Due to Brexit and new VAT rules, we're currently not able to sell to private consumers in the UK. Well, you know what? No problem, because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there soon enough, and I'm going to come to the shop. Look at this little thing. Look at this tray. We'll go to the textiles. We're going to hit the textiles, but I have to see this tray. And she's the one who interviewed this woman who wrote the book on old Swedish quilts. Look at that tray. Look how cute it is. Those little bicyclers. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. I'm going to go to Stockholm. And I love that mug. Everything. All of it. I want it all. I'll take the little paintbrushes. I'm in. It's great. It's super. I love that. Okay. Back to the what we're supposed to do. So she is does she sell quilts? I just want to see if they're selling this blankets, little ceramic piece there. That's pretty funny. I just want to see if blankets are because a lot of people sell pre-made quilts. Hang on. And while we're waiting for that, excuse me. So this woman who runs this very cool store, Fine Little Day, in 2018, I saw the date up there, she met up with Asa Wetre. Okay, and Elizabeth Dunker, the person who writes this blog, says that she has a thing for patchwork. Ooh, and Asa's quilt collection is magnificent. The meeting was close to dreamlike. In this post and the two coming, I'll give you a little glimpse of what I got to see. Some more quilts are coming up and some of Asa's textile designs from the 70s. Really? Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. So Asa is like number one, right, on my list of people to get a hold of. Is this Asa's house? I mean, is that... Okay, Asa is something of a quilt expert. Since 1989, she's traveled all over the world with her exhibition quilts. She's written a bunch of books. I think this is her home. Or maybe that's a library. I'm not sure. I think it's her house, right? It's really, really cool. So Asa. Okay, we're going to find Asa. That sounds very good to me. Look at that. See, now... That reminds me, let me pull this down, of a Welsh quilt. Like, it reminds me of a Welsh quilt a lot. What is the relationship between Wales and Sweden? Hey, man, I don't know. And this is why we look at quilts, because suddenly you're learning about geography. Quilts take you everywhere. Welsh quilt. You're going to see what I mean. You are going to see what I mean. Some of you are already thinking that. Look. I mean, there's a relationship here. Damn it. Hang on. That like very bright red. Hang on, I gotta do this right. The internet is hard. Okay. I just see those two things as being really... No. As having a relationship. I mean, I want them to have a relationship, Oh, yeah. Oh, is there a spammer? Oh, I don't have a mod yet, but Snarky Sewist, I'm glad you're here. I've got a couple folks who are like ready to mod, so I will next time I think it's time, right, to have some mods. Yeah, I can, so I'm gonna block him or her or whatever. Block. No spam in here. Orangey red, it is electric, SJ. Really into the red and green in the center. Same. Oh yeah, there's that icky person again. Okay, hang on. Oh yeah, no. Okay, he went away. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's great. Now I'm pretty sure that the quilt on the right is wool, and the quilt on the left does not seem like wool. It also seems much more recent. than this. Oh yeah, it says flannel. Okay, flannel. So this quilt is flannel from Wales there, and then this one over here is not flannel. It is cotton. Cotton. Hang on. Okay, that's done. Okay. All right. Now. Okay. I just want to see a few more of these. Yeah, I think. Oh, that's the one we saw. That's the one Laurel Horton saw in her research. So I know Laurel Horton. If I know Laurel Horton, Laurel can hook me up with Asa. Look at that quilt. I mean, oh, I love it. It's so cool. Anytime a quilt has hearts on it, I mean, it's great. It's great. Yeah, there's something about the color choices that I'm seeing that's similar. You know, it's like a black, which, you know, there's, I think the modern quilters, like I would give credit to the modern quilters for bringing like solid black back a little bit into the quilts being made today. Obviously, they were not the only ones. Art quilters have been using solid black for a long time. Yvonne Porcella comes to mind, you know, Pauline Burbage, who, if you were here from the very beginning, Carol Hempel, we looked at Pauline Burbage and Yvonne Porcella early on, months ago. And they, you know, of course, they're using solid black, but I feel like there was a time, and still there's that whole genre of quilts, it seems, that like, you know, the Paducah quilt, that's amazing, that, you know, in its way, it's extraordinary. A lot of times they're big medallion quilts. They're almost like a kaleidoscope kind of deal with, you know, Swarovski crystals sewn into them. I just don't feel like you see a lot of solid black in quilts for a while, like from like, you know, like the 1980s, not the art quilts, but like the traditional contemporary quilts, you know, from the 1980s till the modern quilters started doing their thing in 2010. I just feel like it was a lot of like country style, like a lot of burnt red, cream, you know, cornflower blue. Great, it's awesome. It was the style that at that time. But black in a quilt to me is so good because it makes the other colors pop. And I'm working on a quilt right now, my little patchwork that I haven't touched in 2 weeks, has solid black in it. And I love it. And I think too, oh yeah, Myra, same, Carol. So Myra, I got approved for affiliate. I'm like a Twitch affiliate now, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, I don't know, you have to have 50 followers and you have to stream X amount of time and fill out all this stuff. And so now you can subscribe to my channel. And in time, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to ever do anything to watch it. It's always free. But, and I just got this like yesterday, this affiliate thing. There's a $4.99 membership or subscription, a $9.99 subscription, and a $24.99 subscription monthly. And I'm going to make like a program with, at $4.99 you get this, and at $9.99 you get this, and at $24.99 you get to come with me to Sweden, maybe, to research Swedish quilts. But what's amazing, so I haven't done any of that work yet because I just haven't done it yet. And I didn't think anyone was going to subscribe until I did. But there have been some subscriptions today, which is amazing. Amazing. And we have learned that you don't have to watch ads if you subscribe, which is pretty great. So that is what that's about. And it just happened today. It's the first time. Michelle says, yeah, okay, it's Susan and Michelle both. Thanks, Myra. Are using black. Yeah, same. Black is, it's just so, it's black. It's so stark, you know? Let's see. Oh, yeah. It's at the Met. Hang on. I gotta find this quilt that I just, Met Museum. Search. There's a quilt in their collection that I'm just gaga over. You know, you've been looking at quilts a lot when you're like, where is that quilt I love? Oh yeah, it's at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Let me just go and find it. It's later. Okay, hang on. I'm having a lot of fun tonight, like a lot of fun. Okay. I'm just, I'm gonna find it. I'm not gonna freak out. I want to find it because it's a very, very good example. Ooh, there's branches and vines. Good old branches and vines. Oh wait, I know what to do. Well, no, hang on. Oh yeah. I know where to find it. I know where to find it faster. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down here. I know where to, because it's in my files. I wrote a little piece about the beauty of quilts for this online magazine, and I was rejected. And I wrote a piece for the New Philosopher magazine that was also rejected. It's hard, I'm a writer before I'm anything else. That's how I order reality, it's like by writing stuff down. I keep a journal. I've kept a journal for years. I write a lot in my journal almost every day. And, but I haven't really written stuff in a while. So, it was really nice to flex a little bit and write some stuff. Because I thought, maybe I'll get published in a little thing. But I was rejected. Both things. But that's what when you're a writer, you have to send stuff out constantly, because truly 95, 97, 99% of what you submit to anything is rejected. It's a trope at this point. It's like a cliche, the writer who gets a rejection letter. Like, well, yeah, that's what's going to happen. But it still stings. Okay, so here's the quilt that I was thinking of. Lemoyne Variation, 1860. Oh, I'm gonna love this. Look, those are all the images I provided for those editors who rejected me. Yeah. Great. So good, right? Star of Lemoyne. All that black. Amazing. 1860. There's that hot pink, right? There it is. So I shouldn't be talking about hot pink not being available, till later. It's so good. Oh. Okay, so let me think now. So how does this go together? Because you think but okay. So the black, these are squares. And you've got your 8-pointed star here. Okay. I'm just wondering about this right here. So, I gotta get the chat pulled up so I can actually see. Susan, I'm coming back to you. And Molly, I remember your question, by the way. I haven't forgotten it. I'll come back to it. So yeah, I know, Michelle. I know. Okay. So how does this? So I'm thinking it's 1860. Okay, so here's something that's interesting. By 1870, as far as I understand, as far as I've read, and I haven't read a lot about the history of sewing machines. Okay, there's a lot more to learn, but from what I understand, and by about 1870 or so, a sewing machine was a fixture in women's lives in the home, because the genesis of the sewing machine, which is a very exciting, complicated, painful, process. Singer was just one of many, many, many people who tried to develop a sewing machine, a domestic sewing machine, and he did well with that finally. But Singer, part of the reason they got so successful is because they were the first company, I believe, in the States, maybe ever, I don't know, to you could buy something on an installment plan. Singer, the sewing machine was the first thing, you can look at it, that you could buy, not layaway, but you could pay every month, and someone would come around with a little, come and collect your money. Okay. Well, okay. Yes, Amish quilts did use a lot of black, and Molly, but I do want to answer your question or I can point you to a resource. So anyway, Singer sewing machines. Yeah. Okay. So you could buy them sort of on credit, make a monthly payment, whatever. It's not financing, but something like that. So the reason I mention it is this was 1860, so it's a little bit before sewing machines were really ubiquitous. But to look at a quilt like this and say that it was probably hand pieced is not necessarily, something that we should say, because the Amish people, speaking of Amish, some Amish folks in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, that highly quilted community area of the country, a lot of the quilts that you see out of Lancaster in the 19th century, a lot of them were machine pieced and hand quilted. Of course, the Amish folks were not using an electric machine. It would be a treadle machine, but machine pieced and then hand quilted, which kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh, I thought they didn't do that kind of stuff, but it was like a crank or a treadle, so this might have been machine pieced. Anyway, the rabbit hole is real, guys. We were just looking at black in quilts. Look at that. Isn't that great? Oh yeah, but wait. In terms of construction, Michelle, you have 17 vintage Singers or featherweights, that is crazy. You're a collector. Where are you living? Where are you from? Because I know a really cool guy in Michigan who does repairs, who's really wonderful, Monty. Okay, and by the way, Susan says, Mary, possible future topic. I'm all ears. Did you know quilts aren't really recognized in Europe as art? I keep hearing how underappreciated the whole textile art world is and just dismissed. Oh. Like, that topic is fascinating. It's really fascinating, whether we, in talking about it in, Europe in that kind of landscape, in the States in that kind of landscape, wherever we are in the world, talking about whether quilts are considered art with a capital A or not. It's just like one of my favorite things to talk about because it's so complicated. And I used to think, like, on its face, like, it was just like, how dare you, say that quilts aren't high art. And I still get mad, and I still feel that way. Like, how dare you say this isn't, high art? But then there is an argument to be made about quilts being design, craft, and it's like, it's a fascinating topic for me because I can never, there's never an answer, never really an answer. I want to talk about that a lot. I almost feel like maybe, like, and you all can tell me, like, maybe on these streams, most of the time it should be the rabbit hole, just like what we're doing, we get in that flow. But other times, like, maybe I could prepare some stuff, like really prepare some things to take you through that, where I have like if we do an art versus craft, focused stream, that might be fun. That might be a fun way to kind of switch things up. And I don't know, I have to think about that. I mean, that would be a lot of work. I mean, it would all be useful, obviously, but to make like a big presentation, it would kind of be like putting together a QuiltCon lecture, which is extraordinarily, labor intensive, I should say. I don't know, it's just interesting because there's so much to say on that, and like, I don't know, maybe we should just talk about it and just see where it goes, next time. Yeah. I mean, I really think about it a lot, and I think, I mean, without going too far into it, because it is such a complicated, very, textured conversation, I think a couple things. One, men run the art world. They do. They always have. Quilts are made by women. So no matter what you do, and I'm not on some feminist soapbox. I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm a feminist or not. I don't care. I don't care. It's fact. Men run the art world. Rich men. Rich white men. They do. It's not a feeling. It's not like a theory I have. It's a fact. And it's a fact that women largely are the makers of quilts in Western society, okay? As far as I know. And that's a problem for an object being able to be entered into the world of high art, fine art, with a capital A. Hey, Quilting Politic. Welcome. I don't know. I feel like you're new. I don't know if I've seen you yet. I'm really glad you're here. So it's like the ivory tower, literally, the ivory tower of fine art. I mean, the galleries in London and York, they just, they have a club, and they have a system, and they have a network, and it takes a lot to get into those places, I think, but not just with quilts. See, now I really am off on it, but this is important to say. I'm so glad you're here, Quilting Politic. Oh, I love that. Well, you're right on time for this discussion. So here's the other thing. I thought of this in grad school. Okay, so I'm sitting in a textile history class, one of the best classes I took, and I thought, maybe part of the problem of quilts being accepted, or no, not just quilts, textile art, weavings, wall hangings, sculptures, anything that's cloth. I think that the highest height of art in as far as the world goes right now, there's Renaissance art, okay, but then abstract art, Rothko, Yves Klein, these just abstract paintings, okay, yeah, Rothko and Donald Judd, and just these really really abstract paintings that are shapes and minimalist and all this. And this seems to be the height of intellectual art, right? Painting, abstract shapes, abstract art, and it's painting, okay, mostly sculpture, but painting. And that's all about the mind, it's this really cerebral, kind of high art thing. But textiles, and I know that's kind of a vague thing, but let me compare it to textiles. Textiles are all about the body. We are born, it's been said, we're born into a quilt. Babies are wrapped into cotton, okay? Babies are wrapped, with cotton. They're wrapped with a textile. And that's what you feel when you're born. You're born and you're wrapped in a textile. And when you die, you're shrouded, you're covered with a textile. Textiles, to me, the beauty of them is all about the body. It's all about the mortal coil. We have to wear clothes because it's cold, or we wrap ourselves in beautiful fashion, poison green, right? We talked about earlier. But textiles are material culture. It's what we live in. It's what we sleep under. It's what we make love on or under. It's what we, the baby spits up on the quilt. You spill wine on the quilt, right? And you put it through the washer. This is stuff that we use. That's why I love quilts, because they're utilitarian, but they're also beautiful. Okay. I think that, who started me on this? I think that the high art, fine art world, these cerebral, sort of very erudite, don't make me say elite, but this sort of cocktail party rich world is threatened by textile art, because textile art is a little bit gross if you abstractly, I'm talking abstractly here, but it's textiles are they're a little messy, these fibers that get everywhere, and what a quilt represents. You have clothes from your grandmother in the quilt, or you have stains from, I don't know, birthing a child. We don't want any juices on our art. We want it to be this clean, sort of minimalist thing and like transcending the human experience somehow. And there, I'm all for that. You have to, yes, help me transcend the human experience. It's really tough down here, you know. But I think it's messed up too that textiles have just had to fight so hard in Western art to be seen as legitimate. Not even like, forget like good and brilliant, but like as even legitimate art. We've been folk art, we've been primitive art, we've been, you know, vernacular art is what we use now, what they say about it now, you know, vernacular art, which is okay. But oh no, Myra subscribed, but it didn't show you as subscribed. Myra, not cool. I'm glad you said that. Oh, and Quilting Politics subscribe too. This is great. This is great. You're not going to get any ads. Okay, Myra, I don't know why I don't see it on my screen, but thank you. If I could do like a little like a little cheer thing or something on this, I would. I mean, I really appreciate it. I did not think anyone was going to subscribe until I like had like a gift bag or something to give to you. So that is amazing, and I really appreciate it. And now you won't have to watch ads. Oh, I'm really off on a tear. Okay. So I think that the realness of quilts, I think the femininity of quilts, the juices of quilts, it's a problem for the fine art world. And so it's like, as long as quilts want to be recognized in that world as being legitimate in that world, we may not get there. But I just sort of feel like, who cares about your little abstract art world? It's great, but like, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to belong to any club that would have me as a member. You know, the famous Woody Allen quote, speaking of rich white men. But you know, it's sort of like a, maybe we don't need you anyway, you know. But I think textiles are going to have, I think the next wave of fine art, I mean, the next like era, the next age is the age of the textile. And I've said this for a while, and I believe it. And I think it's because of something we actually talked about last time. The environment. The environment is in trouble. And I think people reusing and recycling things in art rather than like, you know, fabricating new stuff. Of course, people always will, but like there's a real crisis going on. And I think the more people need to reuse and recycle materials that are already available, the more fiber art we will have, because you just want to use what's there, and there's a lot of fabric out there. So that's what I think. Anyway, wow. Okay. Art versus craft. Yeah. There's more to say, but that's the main thing, is that I think the textiles are about the body and painting is about the mind, the higher sort of function of the body. Of course, the brain is part of the body, but you know what I mean? There's sort of this cerebral, you know, Apollonian part, and then this like Dionysian body part. And I think it's threatening. I think the quilters are not so innocent as we seem. We represent there's a word I can't pronounce. And I can't even spell it. Anyway, it means like the dark, primeval, you know, primordial goo. And we represent that. Okay. Okay. Whew, gosh, that was crazy. That was a lot. Swedish Quilts, anybody? Anybody remember that? Bronte, you agree. I'm glad. I mean, I think there's something to that. So, yeah, okay. It's 10 to 7, but I don't know. I'm not done yet. Okay. Swedish Quilts. Okay. Asa, yes, we're back here. Oh, here's what I want to do. Let's look at Sweden. Oh, I didn't pronounce that right. Sweden. When we start looking at stuff for Quiltfolk, you know, we look at a state like Oklahoma. You know, I look at a map first, right? Because like, where is Sweden? Where it is? And I think looking at a map would be a nice change from what we've been doing, which is what I've been doing, which is getting very animated about art versus craft. So let us look at Sweden. Yes, that's nice. Oh, look how pretty it is. Look at that. Okay, I gotta drink water. Yeah, Sweden. How many of you have been to Sweden? Myra, it just came through. Do you see? Subscribed at tier 1. It just came through. So I guess it takes a minute or something. I'm really glad it showed up though. Okay, that's good. Okay, no, I want to look at a map. We've seen a lot of pictures. Just show me the map. Sweden is a Scandinavian nation with thousands of coastal islands. Okay, I didn't really know that. Thousands of coastal islands and inland lakes. Okay, yeah. Along with vast boreal forests and glaciated mountains. Hello, little map. I need you. Okay, Stockholm. Hang on. Oh, wow. That looks great. Okay, that was worth the wait. But I need to look at geography. I need to understand, like, where things are here. So we're going to zoom out. Sorry, we're going to zoom out. Oh, wow. Okay, they really took us in tight. It hiccuped, the internet hiccuped before, and it got over it very quickly. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so Sweden. Ah, Sweden. Okay, there I am. They're in London. Okay. Back to go away. Greenland. Are there quilts in Greenland? I don't know. Who wants to go to Greenland with me? Okay, Sweden. Yes, Sweden. Okay. Norway is its neighbor. I gave up a long time ago being, like, ashamed that my geography knowledge is pretty poor. I'm okay, but, like, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, you know, I just could not tell you, you know, which is more north. You know, you get into Afghanistan and Iraq, and I kind of know some of that, but, like, you know, social studies was a long time ago, and I look at, you know, the news and stuff and try to, you know, place things in the world in my mind, but, you know, I don't know. I don't always do so well, and I feel really dumb if I don't get something right. If I'm like, now where is that? You know, where is Finland? But I don't. It's okay. You know, it's okay. Just look at a map, right? I don't know. So Sweden is in between Norway and Finland. And, you know, sometimes it's a little confusing because Norway, you know, if something's Norwegian, I tend to think of like Norwegian and Scandinavian to me, kind of like, I'm sorry, you know, if you're from this part of the world, you're probably like, ugh, these Americans, you know, it's gross. And it is gross, but I don't know. It's not something that I know a lot about. So now I will see quilts lead the way, and now I'm going to know tons of stuff about Scandinavia and Norway and Sweden and Finland. So that's the Baltic Sea, okay? The Baltic Sea. So Sweden and the Baltic Sea are, like, really tight. Okay. So what's the capital of Sweden? It's Stockholm, right? Great. Myra, thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. Instead of traveling to Sweden in 1999, you moved to Seattle. Was there love involved in this change of plans? I feel like maybe there was. Love changes plans, but maybe it was a career choice. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. Was it love? I don't know. Okay, so then the capital of Sweden, I want to look at, like, what are the big cities? Because probably if we go there, when Quiltfolk goes there to do, like, a workshop in Sweden to look at Swedish quilts, you know, we'll definitely go to Stockholm. Okay, here's Stockholm. But then, like, where else? You know, should we just go to Stockholm? Oh, Copenhagen. But Copenhagen is Denmark. Yeah, okay, Copenhagen is Denmark. So Stockholm looks amazing. I want to go there. It looks like Austria. I mean, this is like forest, right? I mean, this is really, really, it's not densely populated in here. It doesn't seem. Maybe I'm just not zoomed in enough yet. Okay, yeah, I'm wrong. Often. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, Arnie and Carlos. Lots of knitting, right? Lots of knitting. Okay, there's a YouTube channel Myra's pointing out, Arnie and Carlos from Norway. I would go to that workshop too, to be honest with you. So I want to do it. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a lot of nature. That's a lot of beautiful wildlife, and I don't know if you hike or whatever. Sundsvall. Now this is interesting because it said there was all these islands, thousands of islands, right? And here they are. I'd want to find a reason to go to one of these one of these coastal towns. Umea, that looks like kind of a larger town. So from here, the research on Sweden goes into these different towns, quilts. I'll talk to Laurel Horton, this expert. I'll get in touch with Asa, who wrote this book, who's a collector. Try to find out, where do we go? Where do we get the story of quilts in Sweden? And then we go. Okay, now and then it's just about logistics. Google flights. Whoops. Google flights. Let's see what's going on here. London to Stockholm. Whoops. Yes, Stockholm, Sweden. When should we go? Let's go. Wait. I mean, now we're really... Look at that Swedish quilt. See? Are you reminded why we want to go there? Weather in why can't I say Stockholm in January. But that's the earliest I could go. It is very cold. It is very cold there. Okay, well, maybe we go to Spain first. But let's see, how much does it cost? If we were going to go in, I don't know, could I get something together by November? I'm not going home for Thanksgiving. I'm going home for Christmas. Okay, let's just call it November 26th. Travel November. Look, oh no, if I go on the 27th, it's 20 pounds sterling. Really? Well, okay. Okay, I could do that. Come home on, let's say December 3rd. Yeah, 83 pounds to go to Sweden, to go to Stockholm. I mean, yeah. So that is where I'm gonna sign off today. Okay, good. See, you all can help me a lot. So Gothenburg, Malmo, and Uppsala. Large cities in Sweden. Okay, large cities. Okay, yeah. Diobeb. It's dark in the winter. Can you wait till spring? Honestly, that's the kind of thing that directs the editorial, for a travel magazine, basically. In fact, before I go, let's just see average temperature in Barcelona in January. This is probably a better way to go. Yeah, 50s. We're going to Spain. Really, let's look at Spanish stuff next time, or maybe we'll wait and look at something completely different and then go back to the international party, right? The international search. Is January a good time to visit Barcelona? Yes. Even though the city's chilly, pleasant weather. Yeah, I mean, I do not like the heat at all. So I am not about going to Barcelona really any other time than January, maybe like February, but like August, September, I'm not going to do it. So last thing I want to do is just Swedish quilts. Just do a quick image search. To see, what is this all going to be about? We've seen some of these images. Ooh, Kay Fassett. Kay Fassett is here in London. I met him. I talked to him and Brandon. We're like this. I mean, obviously, like, I mean, if nothing else, I gotta talk to Cave, right? And be like, hey, where do we go? And can you give me their phone number? It's kind of cool. I've been in the quilt industry for like 12 years, you know? You meet people. That's great. Postcard from Sweden quilt. Okay, that's like named after something. Swedish abstract quilt. Okay. There's stuff to see. But I think a lot of what, there you go, Nordic Scandinavian quilt. A lot of what I'm going to find is going to be through some people. Carol says, I work for what used to be a Dutch-owned company and happened to run into a woman from the Netherlands in a tiny quilt shop in Tennessee. Because, you know, you do. She told me, so she was from the Netherlands. Okay, she told me quilting there was completely different than in the U.S. She had to leave before I could find out if she just meant the fabrics or the style. That is very interesting. And you know what? That kind of tidbit scares me because you don't know what you don't know. You know? And like, that's why I've got to get in touch with Asa or, you know, Elizabeth and Kaif, you know, whoever set up his trip, his tour, and his whatever project, probably him. Jenny Doan, yay! I'm a big fan. Yeah, because you don't want to screw it up, right? If you go to Sweden and just kind of only find what you're looking for, you know, that could be a big bad thing. Oh wait, look at this, Swedish vintage fabric in cotton. Wow. Well, I love that fabric. I love that fabric a lot, actually. Let's just look at it. Swedish fabric. That's what I have to look up to now. Swedish. Oh, isn't that great? Oh, I love it. Oh, isn't it wonderful? Let's go. There's a super sweet quilter from the Netherlands called Irene. Sugary Dew. Okay, Irene. Love it. YouTube. Sugary Dew. That's really cute. Sugary Dew. Okay, thank you, Sibby Mac. Yeah, I'm winding it down. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Susan, I know, it's so great. She didn't buy any fabric, that lady in the quilt shop, which I thought was odd. I've never left a quilt shop empty-handed. Same. At least one fat quarter. At least. This is really gorgeous. Okay, so I've got a lot to look at. I'm going to keep you all updated on Sweden. I do think that, I mean, it doesn't make sense to go to Sweden in January. We'll have to do it in the spring because I've done stuff outside when it's cold. I mean, I'm going to be styling quilts and, you know, getting these glamour shots of these quilts and stuff. And why do that in 20 degree weather? It's ridiculous. No one would help us. So maybe it is Spain, you know, Tuscany. Are there quilts in Tuscany? But that's kind of the adventure we're on. And I'm so glad that you're here. And this was great. It's just always so much fun. Thank you for subscribing. I'm amazed. I mean, that's so cool. Thank you so much. I love doing this for you all, and I'll see you soon. Oh, and right now, 3 times a week. So I'm keeping this Saturday night at 10 p.m. stream. I did it last week. Let's just look at the clocks thing that I use all the time. So 10 p.m. for me on Saturday night is 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Chicago, and Central, and then 2 p.m. on the West Coast. So yeah, 10 o'clock Saturday night. I'm not doing anything else, but I really like that time period because I think people can make it who might not be able to make it during the day, during the week. So I'll see you then. Oh, you have now the people are doing cool stuff with like a unicorn and stuff. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm gonna go eat some proper dinner, and I just think you're the best, and I'm gonna stop the thing, and bye.